Hey folks, Maximum Panic here, and welcome back to PanicCraft, my single-player survival series, where I'm gonna start off this episode by going spelunking. I know, I said I'd never go back into this cave after the whole Ancient City debacle last time, but you know what? I'm stubborn and I don't like to quit on things, so I went right back in there. Because I figured I might as well do it now instead of later, make it easier on myself in the future. Well, I also went back in because I need a lot of stone and andesite, because those are kind of the basic building blocks for the stuff I have in mind for this little settlement of mine. Also, because I have no concept of safety or rationality, I went right back down to that Ancient City. Not really to get anything this time, I just wanted to put down some carpet and make things easier on myself in the future, so I have somebody to thank for that, you know? But of course, me being the loot-hungry goblin that I am, of course I wasn't gonna leave this ancient city again without at least getting some loot for my troubles. So that's exactly what I did. While laying down some carpets over to some chests, I was very careful to make sure that I destroyed every skulk sensor that I could see, as well as any shriekers if they posed any risk of setting off an alarm. I was pretty sure that I got all of them. But here's the thing, it's about as hard to see anything down here as it is trying to see the backside of an enderman inside an obsidian box. So I thought that there was only one shrieker that I needed to destroy to make this a hunky-dory trip and everything would be fine. Turns out there was one on the other side of that far wall that I didn't even know was there, and of course when I mined this one with my ironclad hoe, bing bang boom, Warden's home. I said heck no and immediately bailed out of there. Although, again, it was dark as heck, so I couldn't see my way out. Eventually, though, I did find my way back around the mountain and got home. Although, admittedly, I did take a little bit of a detour because I actually forgot that on my way to my base from the world spawn last episode, I found a mossy cave by accident. I don't like to admit that falling into holes by accident has its benefits, but in this case, it really did. I did manage to get a whole lot of mossy blocks, some azalea bushes and stuff, glowberries, and I think a couple stacks of clay blocks, because, you know, terracotta is also a very nice, colorful block that I want to use in the future. But after getting all the moss and clay blocks that I could possibly carry, and fighting off the desert swarm, I finally made it home, and now I can finally get back to the main focus of today's episode: livestock. So, first off, do you guys see all those ugly animal pens just kind of occupying the middle of the valley? Yeah, well, for today's episode, I want to get all those animals sorted out, move them somewhere nicer, and, I don't know, probably get the bees sorted out too, because I could use a lot of honey to wax a lot of copper and stuff. Yeah, we gotta do something about all these animals, because, I mean, just look at all those chickens. Now, here's the thing. The build that I have in mind to house all of these animals unfortunately requires some copper, and I need honey to wax all that copper. And the only way to get the honey that I need, I'm gonna have to begrudgingly do a little something I didn't want to have to deal with for another couple of episodes, but you know what? It's gonna be worth it in the end. Puns aside, with the goal in mind of colonizing all the bees in this valley into one convenient spot for my harvesting needs, I went around gathering up every beehive that I could find and moved them into one particular spot. And, you know, made a couple of extra bee boxes because I may have accidentally broken a beehive or two and made some of the bees mad at me. Whoops. They all wanted to relocate to their new real estate property in the end, so once they were all comfortably moved in, I broke out the bouquet and they got down to business. Nature's pretty neat, and much like these bees, it's also very sweet. The thing is, to get some of that sweetness, you might have to deal with some very spicy bees first, like I did. It was a repetitive process of going up to those beehives, using the shears to collect the honey, run around them in circles yelling, "Toro! Toro!" and then spam them with flowers so they'd stop being angry and just go back to being horny, and eventually make more bees. And now I think we can finally get down to business on this beeviary. The beeviary is one of those rare cases where I actually didn't plan anything ahead of time, I just decided to wing it. Which in hindsight was kind of a mistake because I am in fact an indecisive mess. My plan initially was to build the whole thing out of white concrete and then accent it with spruce and mangrove wood. As you can see here, I did finish building out that whole concept to my design, but then I took a step back and looked at it and decided, you know what? No, it's not colorful enough. We need more color. And bing bang boom, we've got ourselves a gradient. So with the beeviary done, I'm just gonna take a few more steps back and move on to other projects because currently my head is buzzing with new ideas and honey, I am sick of those bees right about now. The first little project that I did was make a staircase up the side of the mountain to the tunnel that led me down to Ancient City Land. And now that I think about it, the path that I took to get down there leads me to believe that the Ancient City lies right underneath the mountain range that overlooks the valley. So I'm gonna name it accordingly. From now on, these mountains right here shall henceforth be known as the Summit of Souls. Foreboding and inspiring. You know what's something I'd like to do to get my mind off things that I don't like? Do other things that I don't like. Like mining. And I know what you're thinking. No, we're not going back down beneath the Summit of Souls to do that all over again. Believe it or not, I might have actually found a mine shaft underneath the valley as well. And the good thing about mine shafts is they have plenty of good loot if you know exactly where to look. And thankfully I did. Although of course I can't help but get distracted on the way to find that good loot. So this mining trip basically entailed me getting a whole lot of stray stuff like iron, gold, stray lapis, redstone, picking up every visible railroad that I could find, and of course, you know, fueling my cola addiction again. And of course people must keep asking themselves, why does Mina keep saying that she's addicted to cola? Well, the answer is easy. Just ask my missing gallbladder. Of course, I'm not a moron, so if I was gonna get all that cola, obviously I had to pump some iron and get some copper to balance it all out, right? The good thing about mine shafts is there's an endless possibility of what loot you can find down there. The bad thing about mine shafts is you never know how many spider spawners you're gonna run into. And you know what? After I finished deactivating about 3 of them, I said, I'm good, fam, and immediately went back home. And then I checked my haul and I realized that I came back with a full stack of raw copper blocks. There's a good chance that I'm going to be set on copper for the next 4 to 5 episodes. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have hit the peak of the episode, because after I brought all that loot back, things quickly began to go downhill. You know, I thought that paving a pathway through the valley today would be the least dangerous activity on my list today, but apparently I was wrong, because while I was laying down all that cobblestone, I looked over and found a gigantic hole in the bottom of the valley. And of course, when I dug out a few blocks and went down to look, turns out there is another gigantic cave underneath the valley. Although, this must have been one of those moist caves, because when I stepped a little too close to look and my foot slipped out from under me, No. Yeah. I died. I am so glad this isn't hardcore mode. So with that, I respawned, got my stuff back, swim up a waterfall back to the surface, and agreed to just swear off spelunking for the rest of the episode. So my next thought was, you know what could probably help me out a lot in the coming episodes and might be really fun to make? How about an iron farm? Because I have a zombie spawner nearby in the exact place that I'd like to be able to build one, so let's do that thing! So I went back to the zombie spawner to start preparations for the iron farm, because nothing else can possibly make this day go any worse. Son of a— You know what? We're just gonna swear off mountains and caves for the rest of the episode because I am one creeper explosion away from setting my own house on fire! So I'm just gonna do something a lot less stressful and start making pathways, which is the most relaxing thing that I know how to do in this game. And a pathway that I know is definitely gonna benefit me in the future, a pathway that'll connect the valley to the mountain pass all the way over to that acacia village across the river. That way I can transport the villagers for future establishing connections with other settlements that I want to renovate someday. By the way, have you guys met my horse? This is Forsyth. And nothing is ever gonna happen to her because she's my best friend. Call me a NASCAR simp because I'm about to rail this road. Creating a rail system that allows me to travel between settlements is one of the highest priority items on my checklist that I'd like to get checked off right away. Because without a pair of elytra wings, this is the fastest way for me to get around Minecraft. Say what you will, but I am not ready for the end realm yet. Unfortunately, the road to railing that mountain is gonna have to wait because you need powered rails to make a decent railroad, and unfortunately, I have none. And unfortunately, I need more gold to be able to make those powered rails, which means we're gonna have to go spelunking again. But this time in the Nether. The Nether shouldn't be too bad, right? I mean, it's not like there's zombies, creepers, or skeletons waiting around every corner to pop out and murder you, right? It shouldn't be too bad. You know, it's funny, I knew I was wrong the second they came out of my mouth. Either way, I got what I needed, I got out of there, and went back to making the railroad, only to realize something very, very crucial. I never rode my horse over here to get to that portal. Which begs the question, dude, where's my horse? When I tell you that I looked everywhere trying to find Forsyth, I mean I looked everywhere trying to find my horse. Unfortunately, she wasn't in the Acacia Village, she wasn't in the Savannah Plains beyond the village, she didn't go to the jungle, the meadow, she didn't go back home, not up the mountain. I couldn't find Forsyth anywhere. This horse really just called me a loser and then peaced off into the sunset now, didn't she? Forsyth, why? My trusty steed, my best friend. Gone but not forgotten, but mostly gone. Either way, life has to go on at some point, so after drying my pixelated tears, I went back to the reason that I originally came back to this village. We all know the drill by now. It's a long process with a short explanation. Basically, I waited for them all to go off to work or back home, made some cobblestone funnels leading to the railroad tracks where there were some mine carts conveniently waiting to take them to their new real estate properties back in the valley, lure them in with a promise of bread and new opportunities, and then sent them off on their merry way. And, wouldn't you know it, the 2 easiest villagers to recruit also happen to be the smartest ones in the village. And that's because the jobs that they have are engineers. Yeah, I know, it's not exactly a vanilla job, is it? Another featured mod that I also added to this world is called More Villagers. It's not a very complicated mod. It basically just adds more job blocks so you can get different kinds of trades from more kinds of villagers. I mean, now we've got like florists, gardeners, woodworkers, nether goodsmen, end goodsmen, we've got oceanographers. We got all kinds of new villagers. It's kind of neat. And much to my convenience, the engineers in this case happen to be the guys that you can trade emeralds for redstone parts. And speaking as somebody who aspires to be a hermit one day, that's gonna come in real handy for somebody who wants to build a bunch of farms and storage systems in the future. So once I made sure that the 2 most crucial resources in my the 2 newest residents in my valley were safely tucked into the little cobblestone fort so nothing could kill them, I finally went back to check on the copper that I laid out earlier, and it looks like everything that I needed to oxidize finally did. A little bit of wax and a mining later, and we finally got everything we need to make those stables. So what do you say we finally give these animals a place to call home? Let's go. And And off to the races I went, running around and around trying to get these stables built. And much like the animals they're going to house, the stable design is very basic. Well, quote-unquote basic. The craziest thing I actually did was make a gradation of the length of that tower right there, and a lookout post at the top so you can look out over the valley and not have to stare at the sheep as you wait for them to regrow their wool. And before you ask, yes, I did do interiors, because I'd be stupid to leave this thing empty so more creepers could spawn inside of it and try to jump scare me like this one did. Yeah, I did not appreciate that. And with that, I think I can safely say that we're officially done with this thing. Look at it! You know, it occurred to me like halfway through when I was building this that this isn't really so much as like a animal barn kind of place. It's more kind of a place meant for like, I don't know, fancy horses or something. But you know what? For now, it's just a good place to store all my cows, sheep, and pigs, or as I like to call them, dinner. So here we got the good old cow pen. Of course, I'm gonna fill this thing up to the brim so I can get as much leather and steak out of these guys as I possibly can. Over here, we got all the sheep, which I'm eventually gonna dye all kinds of different colors just so I can get all the different kinds of wool that I could possibly need. And then we got the pigs over here, because, you know what? Pigs are just pretty neat. They're like the least invasive / annoying animal out of all three of these. I mean, the chickens are still somewhere over there, but I'm gonna make them their own little chicken coop at some point. So I got all these animals here, and I figured at some point I'm gonna have a villager here, probably the kind that's gonna actually look after the animals, give or take, which I thought about like which kind that would be, and at first I thought maybe like a farmer guy, because, you know, farms, animals, everything. But for some reason that didn't feel quite right for some reason, because, you know, the composter farmer guys in this game are like mostly dealing with crops and stuff. And then it hit me. Why didn't I just get a shepherd? Because, you know, they work with the looms to get all the sheep wool and stuff and make all the banners and pretty things. But I don't know, it just seemed like a better fit to me. So as for the living quarters, which I've taken a little bit of time to decorate, not very much, but, you know, at least just enough for now. I know it's a little bare bones, there's a lot of copper, but you know what, shut up, it's fine. Little dining table right there. And of course, I'm assuming whoever lives here is going to have to live the vegan lifestyle, or, well, may the animal gods have mercy on them. Little sink over here. I got an iron ingot because for some reason it looks like a bar of soap. Thought that was kind of funny. And if we go up here to the second floor is where they're actually gonna sleep and just kind of, I don't know, live. Got a little double bed here in case the shepherd gets a wife and or husband or partner, I guess. I don't know, I'm not picky. Not a whole lot going on, but you know what? It's just enough. Feels very much like a natural lifestyle kind of thing, you know? Very rustic, very wooden, I guess. Very organic, that's the word I was looking for. And then you come up here to the top of the tower, and we got a nice little lookout station. Not a whole lot going on out here, but it does have a nice view of this part of the valley anyways. Okay, I think I've spent enough time away from the beeviary that I can clear my head and everything without feeling exhausted just looking at this thing, but here it is, the beeviary. I didn't think that I was gonna start grading it with pumpkins, but you know what? I didn't expect a lot of things today, so but yeah, why don't we at least take a look at the very minimal interior design that I've done, because it's not really a place to like hang out, it's more just a place to take care of the bees. So around here we got like a little workbench in case I need to store my overflow honeycomb and honeycomb blocks. See, blocks up here, honeycomb here, and I don't know, spare building things and pumpkins down there. We got all that stuff, and then if we go in here, this is kind of the main attraction point of this whole place, the main part of the beeviary. But yeah, this is where they hang out, they pollinate, they get down to business, and apparently they do that. I don't know why they keep doing that though, it's funny. But at least none of them are at risk of dying here. We come down here and we can look out over the balcony at the bees just doing their thing down there. And it looks like some of them have already made some honey, which is pretty good. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, I also got a couple of little balconies out here too, just for fun. Hey, little buddy, did you get stuck out here? Come on. Hey, are you asleep? What's happening? Come on, get in there. Come on, buddy, you can do it. You can do it. A little lethargic, I'm sure. He'll wake up eventually, but yeah. Overall, very scenic, very true to his purpose. I think it's pretty nice. And off we go. I guess he didn't live here, he didn't want to. Whatever. Oh, yeah, and before I forget, these villagers that I'm quote-unquote keeping safe in here, probably need to— oh, hi, sheep. You breakdancing or what's happening? Dude! Okay, ignoring that. Yeah, these guys have been in here for a while, and I'm sure they're gonna need to be fed if they want to survive, so, hey, guys. I know you've been in here for a while, and I'm very sorry about that, but wait, weren't there two of you? Or are there— yeah, there are two of you. It's just that this guy's on the slope, there's one more guy at the bottom, so, I'm gonna leave you with a couple of golden carrots, just, you know, as a little I'm sorry kind of gift, and then I'll just box you back up, but, enjoy your time in there. So sorry about that, see you next week. Also, this horse does not have a name yet. Unfortunately, I could not find Foresight for the life of me, so this guy will have to be its replacement. Somehow it moved on very quickly. I'd like to believe that Foresight is still out there somewhere, but you know what? For now, this guy will do. And he's very pretty. Or she? I don't know which one. But yeah, while I was waiting for all that copper to oxidize so I could build that freaking tower, I actually wound up looking on Pinterest and YouTube for a couple of different fence designs here just to kind of beautify the place a little bit, or at least give it some structure. And I found this one lovely little design made by Jax the Legend. I hope I'm saying that right, but thank you very much. The only difference is that while they used spruce trapdoors for the plant boxes, I swapped it out with mangrove just to kind of, I don't know, add to the aesthetic of this whole place, because I do love mangrove. I do want to use like a lot of it for most of the designs that I have planned for this whole little area here. But yeah, it's a nice, lovely little design, and in fact, I ended up liking this one so much that I actually ended up adding it to the perimeter of my yard slash house. Something to give it a nice little bit of extra oomph. I do like, you know, just the whole like rustic medieval look here, but I do like a little bit of cutesy stuff here now and then too. I don't know, something to add to the aesthetic. We've made a lot of good stuff here today. And you know what? I think I also really need a nap. Building that tower back there was a hell of a lot more exhausting than I thought it was. Well, honestly, just waiting for the copper to oxidize too. Like, that was a big issue in itself. Just because, you know, I mean, it takes so long in this game. I freaking hate that part. But anyways, I think I'm going to call it an episode here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. But if you want to see more cool builds in the future, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and leave a like so I know that you guys want me to do more of these. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye-bye!